Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Arizona.
Home sweet home, Chase Field, the Arizona Diamondbacks welcoming in an American League East powerhouse. The Baltimore Orioles are here to take on the D-backs. Arizona looking at the Dodgers in the NL West and the Reds in the NL Wild Card. And we're set for baseball here on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from Chase Field and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthume and Bob Brentley along the way. The Diamondbacks beginning a 3-game series against these Orioles, the American League East contending Orioles. They play outstanding defense. They have some of the best hitters in all of baseball. And, BB, that includes their outstanding first baseman, Chris Davis, who has put on a power display over the course of this All-Star season.
You may remember earlier this year we compared Paul Goldschmidt to Joey Votto of the Cincinnati Reds, two of the best first basemen in the National League. Well, today we're going to get to compare Paul Goldschmidt to the, at least offensively, the best first baseman in the game right now. They call him crushed. Chris Davis, 42 bombs, 109 runs driven in. He's slugging nearly 700. He's doing it all on the field. And you talked about the hitters in this lineup. They have a lot of guys that get on base, and Chris Davis has been there to clean up the mess. Not only does he hit home runs, he hits tape measure home runs.
That was a big one he hit in San Francisco over the weekend. Of course, so the Diamondbacks have their own candidate in Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, his home runs just barely clear the fence. But Goldie's been carrying this offense all season long. A little bit of a struggle since the All-Star break, but the hits he has had have been big ones, and hopefully some more big ones from Goldie tonight.
And the Diamondbacks have Wade Miley on the mound. He'll take on newcomer Scott Feldman, the first of three between the Diamondbacks and the Orioles, almost to set for first pitch here at Chase Field. When we come back, we'll have the latest on some Diamondbacks news and notes, including a health update on Cody Ross. Cody, some big shoes to fill, a key bat now out of the lineup. Jody Jackson has the latest on how the D-backs will replace Cody Ross when we come back. George Brazil guarantees the lowest price on a new AC system. Call George today. By Lexus, the Golden Opportunity Sales Event is here. And by Fulton Homes. You're proud to own, we're proud to build.
And welcome back. The Arizona Diamondbacks set to go here on this Monday afternoon. A look inside the dugout as they get set for the first of three against the Baltimore Orioles. Jody Jackson with you on the field just outside the D-backs dugout. And we know just how good Cody Ross was against the AL East this year for the Diamondbacks. We know that Cody Ross was hitting .350 actually since the All-Star break. But unfortunately, they will be without his services, it looks like, for the rest of the season. Yesterday early in the game, running to first base, he dislocated his right hip. And for the very latest on that, we have comments from manager Kirk Gibson.
I think he may be having surgery tomorrow, but that hasn't been confirmed. When I texted him today, I didn't get anything back today. Yesterday, he was just like, another blip in the road, don't worry, I'll be good. It's kind of how his attitude always is, though.
Cody Ross always with a positive attitude, but you could see just the look on his face, the pain that he was in at that time. And you heard from Kirk Gibson, he is likely to undergo surgery tomorrow. Gibson did not have confirmation on that, but again, it's a long rehab process. Gibson was asked if he'll be ready to go in the spring. He said, yes, hopefully that is the case. So best wishes to Cody as he recovers from what Gibson called a traumatic injury. Well, as we get set for tonight's matchup, Wade Miley goes out there. He has a string of 12 straight games, giving up 3 runs or less. He will face a difficult Baltimore Orioles lineup. The challenge tonight for Wade and the D-backs.
Diamondbacks and Orioles. D-backs 2 over 500. They begin playing tonight. 7.5 games behind the Dodgers for the NL West lead. 5.5 games behind Cincinnati for the second National League wild card. The Orioles come into tonight 4.5 back of Boston for the American League East lead. A win for Buck Showalter's Birds would put them at 14 games over 500. And that would tie a season high. This is a very powerful offensive lineup here, Bob. They have a player in Manny Machado who leads the majors in doubles. They have a player, Chris Davis, who leads the majors in home runs.
Yeah, here's how Buck's going to line them up tonight. Nick Markakis at the top of the order. Manny Machado in the 2 spot. Adam Jones in the 3 hole. Chris Davis batting 4th. J.J. Hardy, former National Leaguer, hitting 5th. Matt Wieters, the switch hitting catcher, hitting 6th. Steve Pearce, former Pirate, hitting 7th. Brian Roberts, the second baseman, hitting 8th. And former Chicago Cub Scott Feldman on the mound tonight for the Orioles.
Wade Miley, 26-year-old left-hander from southeastern Louisiana, his 24th start. He has been very good lately. In fact, he's now allowing fewer hits per 9 innings than he did last season when he was an All-Star and Rookie of the Year runner-up. Nick Markakis leads it off for the Orioles, first of 3 versus Baltimore at Chase Field. Look at these numbers for Wade Miley since July the 1st. 5-1 over his last 7 starts. The ERA barely over 1.5. In fact, since July the 1st, no National League pitcher has won more games than Wade Miley. That includes Clayton Kershaw, who dazzled for the Dodgers last night against Tampa Bay.
Boy, Wade was really good last time out against Tampa Bay. 7 strong innings, gave up only 5 hits and 1 run. Pulled the plug on him a little bit early in that ball game, had a comfortable lead, got him out of there, hopefully to save some innings.
He falls behind Markakis 3-1. Ted Barrett, the crew chief, is the plate umpire tonight.
And one thing about this Orioles team, they've played 13 games over 500 this year against right-handed starting pitchers, and even 500 against left-handed starters.
They hit like an American League East team, and they play defense like one of the best teams in baseball. The pitching has been the Achilles heel. They went out and got Feldman, who starts tonight. They went out and got Bud Norris, and they've done the best they can. High chopper to Goldie at first, and Markakis avoids the tag. Very slowly hit. Not a whole lot Goldie could do there.
Boy, the timing of that play was such that Goldie had to make an instantaneous decision, either pick up that ball and try to apply the tag as Markakis ran by, or let it go and hope it goes foul. Really didn't have enough time to flip to anybody covering the bag. Wade Miley was late getting over there, as was Aaron Hill from his position at second base. Just an unfortunately placed chopper down that right side for Markakis.
Brings up Manny Machado. Now keep an eye on Markakis. Machado leading the major leagues with 42 doubles. In fact, only Adrian Beltre and Miguel Cabrera have more base hits in the big leagues this year than 21-year-old Manny Machado. Down the line in right and foul. 21 years old. In fact, he just turned 21 last month, and he is already a bona fide superstar.
How about this? 1 year ago today was named the American League Co-Player of the Week. His first week of eligibility, and the youngest Player of the Week winner in the 10-year history of that award. I got a feeling he's going to win a few more of those.
They are excited about this guy. 21 years old. From Brito Miami Private School, the 3rd overall pick in the 2010 draft. He was picked right behind Bryce Harper and Jameson Tayo. 1-1 to Machado. Markakis off first. Just underway at Chase Field. By the glove of a diving Aaron Hill. Markakis had to hold up. Parra has trouble corralling it out there in right, but the first 2 have reached here for the Orioles.
Just out of the reach of Aaron Hill, who was cheating up the middle of the field just a little bit in anticipation of a possible double play ball. Machado able to shoot it by him into right field, where Parra had some issues with it. Looked like he was almost hoping that Markakis would try to go to third base, but the Orioles have a scouting report on Gerardo Parra and his arm in right.
Adam Jones. Told you these guys can hit. He's right behind Machado on the major league hits list. Slow roller to second. Hill, Gregorius, Goldie. They turn the double play. Markakis to third. Wade Miley 12th in all of baseball in ground ball percentage, and that certainly helped him out here.
The ball took a little bit of a squirrely hop to Aaron Hill right there. Kind of got up in his midsection, but he was able to find the handle and shovel it over to Didi, who completes the double play easily.
In steps the Major League's home run leader. This is Chris Davis. And the shift is on. That gets through Will Nieves, and Markakis will score easily. It's 1-0 Baltimore. Bob, the wild pitch has been biting the Diamondbacks lately, and it does so again here.
Number 63 on the season. That was a fastball in the dirt, and I will try to defend the catchers on those fastballs. You just don't anticipate a major league pitcher throwing his fastball in the dirt. That one caught Will Nieves by surprise, came up out of his crouch and got through that 5-hole all the way to the backstop.
So now base is empty, a 1-1 count to Davis. He can produce. Talked to Chris in the Orioles clubhouse a little bit before the game, and he said this is a great place to hit. He was excited about coming into this ballpark and hitting, which is not good news for the Diamondbacks, the way he's been going this year.
Watching him take batting practice today, he was hitting baseballs to parts of this ballpark that we haven't seen baseballs hit to this year. My Ram truck out there in right field was in danger today. Yeah, that was well within range of where Chris Davis was hitting the ball this afternoon.
Hold to first. Goldie will call off Miley and take it himself. And that's the inning. But the Orioles scratch across a run. They take a 1-0 lead. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Coming up for the Diamondbacks, it's the leadoff man, A.J. Pollock, who had a big day yesterday. After Cody's hip injury yesterday, A.J. Pollock back at the top of the Diamondbacks lineup against Scott Feldman and the Orioles here. Bob, this is certainly more a defensive-oriented lineup than offensive.
And a little bit of speed at the top with A.J. Pollock leading off. Adam Eaton hitting second tonight. Paul Goldschmidt in his customary 3 spot. Aaron Hill, Martin Prado, Gerardo Parra make up the middle of the order. Will Nieves, Didi Gregorius, and Wade Miley at the bottom.
6'7" right-hander Scott Feldman, longtime Texas Ranger who began this season with the Cubs and is now an Oriole after a trade last month. His 22nd start this season, just his 7th with Baltimore. Those are his American League numbers. He has lost his last 2 starts. A.J. Pollock leads it off for the Diamondbacks.
Now, Feldman was actually really good for the Cubs earlier this year. When they were struggling mightily, Feldman was one bright spot, which is why he got traded.
1-1.
And that's it. You're not going to see him light up that radar gun. Sinker, cutter, curveball, and occasional changeup to a left-handed hitter. He's just a guy that tries to work the corners with some movement, change speeds a little bit, try to throw off a hitter's rhythm.
AJ can't hold up there. Here's what he throws. Feldman started the season with the Cubs after signing a free agent deal last November. And as Bob said, pitched pretty well. This is his stuff. He was 7-6 in 15 starts and had done well there, but traded to Baltimore early last month in a deal that sent Jake Arrieta and Pedro Strop to Chicago. A.J. Pollock coming off a 3 for 5 in yesterday's loss to the Mets. He scored twice from the leadoff spot. Called strike 3 by Ted Barrett. 1 down in the first. Defensively, the Orioles look as such, and this is a very good defensive ball club.
They lead the majors in fewest errors, only 34 on the season. It'll be Pierce, Jones, and Markakis left to right across the outfield. Machado and Hardy on the left side of the infield. Robertson Davis on the right side. Matt Wieters, one of the better defensive catchers in the American League, behind the plate for right-hander Scott Feldman.
Pierce, Jones, and Markakis left to right. J.J. Hardy, a shortstop, longtime Milwaukee Brewer, and a Gold Glove winner last year. Adam Eaton. They don't boot a whole lot of balls, just a little bit better than the D-backs, who are one of the best defensive teams in baseball themselves.
I mentioned the Orioles with 34 errors this season, leading all of Major League Baseball, so obviously leading the American League. The Diamondbacks with 54 to lead the National League. A 20 error differential.
It's going to be like one of those pitchers' duels that ends up 11-10. There's the strike, 2-1.
7 or 8 unearned runs. Yeah. Well, we know Wade Miley needs his defense behind him. When he's at his best, he's pounding the bottom of that strike zone, getting a lot of ground balls to his infielders.
First base, that's Davis. 2 down.
If he can hit this same ball off the plate toward the middle of the field, maybe a chance for Adam Eaton to outrun the play to first, but it goes right to Chris Davis, just a couple of steps over to the bag for the easy out.
Paul Goldschmidt leading the National League in RBIs. He is 1 home run now behind the Pirates' Pedro Alvarez for the league lead. Oh, and 1. Goldie hitting .224 since the All-Star break. He's got 17 hits in the second half of this season. 6 of them are home runs. 2-1. Hey fans, a reminder, every time a Diamondbacks player hits a home run this season, Fulton Homes donates $150 to the Central Arizona Mountain Rescue Association. 2-2 to Paul Goldschmidt. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Feldman. We are through 1 at Chase Field. No score. 1-0 Orioles. Diamondbacks 1-0 as we start the top of the second inning. J.J. Hardy in there against Wade Miley. Hardy, Wieters, and Pierce 5, 6, and 7 in the Baltimore second. J.J. Hardy, another guy that can hit in this lineup, 252 and 21 home runs.
Always desirable when you can have one of your middle infielders also be a power threat. J.J. Hardy has done that over the last few years. Going back to the beginning of the 2011 season, 52 homers.
That's a fair ball down the left field line by a diving Martin Prado. He rolls around the warning track, and J.J. Hardy stops at second with his 18th double. 3 hits already for the Orioles.
Not a bad pitch down in the zone. Got the desired result, a ground ball. Unfortunately, right down at third base stripe past the diving Martin Prado.
Leadoff man in scoring position now for Matt Wieters, the catcher. Wieters not exactly your prototypical catcher. He's a switch hitter, and he's a big guy, as you see here, 6'5", 240.
Long and lean, very flexible. Watching him defensively behind the plate in that top half of the first, he kind of collapsible. He really folds up into a small target back there behind the plate.
He is one bat in this lineup that is slumping a bit. He's sitting under 130 over his last 14 games, and there are 235 on the year. Miley behind 3-0. Wade gave up 2 singles in the first, got a double play ball to move the leadoff man Markakis to third, but then Markakis able to score on a wild pitch. And now there's a 4-pitch walk to Wieters after the double by Hardy.
The Orioles this year ranked second in the American League batting average with runners in scoring position, 279. It stands to reason. You look up and down this lineup, and they've got a lot of thunder, not a lot of team speed aside from Roberts at second base, but they got a lot of guys that can hit the ball in the gap and out of the ballpark, and they do a lot of damage with runners in scoring position.
Left fielder Steve Pierce at 258 and 3 home runs. Hardy on second, Wieters on first. No outs here in the second. Oh, 1. Steve Pierce, just his 32nd game for the Orioles this year. He was out from the middle of June until July 31st. Had to be shut down with wrist tendonitis. Nate McLouth is their primary left fielder. He's been one of their key offensive cogs, but he is sitting out against the lefty Wade Miley tonight. There's Nate McLouth, one of the guys that makes this team go. Every Oriole will tell you that. 1-1. On the ground to Didi at shorts. High throw pulls Aaron Hill off the bag, but he does get a foot down, so they force Wieters, but Hardy goes to third.
Now, Pierce does not run particularly well, but they lost any chance of the double play with the wide throw at second. Aaron Hill had to go back and make sure he got a foot on the bag to get the force at second base. You see he comes off initially, reaches back with the right leg just in time, but that wide throw eliminated any chance of getting the slow-footed Pierce at first.
So they're on the corners, 1 out. Brian Roberts. Wayne Laskin pouncing on that one down the right field line. Roberts 234 and 2 homers. And as has been the case with him in recent seasons, he has missed most of this year with injury. Hamstring surgery this spring. Roberts had to sit out 79 games and didn't make it back until the end of June. His 13th season in the big leagues.
Hasn't played more than 59 games in a season, going all the way back to 2009, the last time he was able to answer the bell on a regular basis.
Base hit to left. Hardy will score. It's 2-0 Orioles. That's 4 hits already for Baltimore.
You saw Martin Prado just kind of rock to his left a little bit. That ball shot by him into left field for an RBI base hit for Roberts.
So 2 runs on 4 hits and a wild pitch. Pierce at second, Roberts at first. Still only 1 out, and Scott Feldman will bat. The pitcher up there, Goldie Wellen on the grass at first. Martin Prado signaling in some plays from third base.
Yeah, the bunt defense plays come from the bench to the third baseman, who then relays them to the rest of the infield. That was the wheel play. You could see Paul, or rather Didi Gregorius, kind of bluffed Pierce back to second base and then broke for third as Prado charged from third base. They were going to try to get the lead runner at third right there, and you get a look at it from up above. When you see that shortstop break for third base that way, that's an indication for the pitcher to go ahead and swing away. You got the infield defense all broken up. There's holes everywhere. Becomes a very low percentage play to try to get a bunt down in front of those charging corner infielders. So Feldman did what you're supposed to do, and from his time in the National League, he's a good hitter, good bunter.
Goldschmidt go to third. Didi gets a foot on the bag. And they can't turn 2. Feldman gets up the line. But to get the lead man as Pierce is erased for the second out.
Now there's at least 3, sometimes as many as 5 different plays you'll run with runners at first and second in a potential bunt situation. This is the wheel play once again. That's generally used when you have a slow runner at second. You think you can get the lead guy at third base. That time Didi tried to turn it into a double play, but at least they do get the lead man out there.
So Roberts at second, Feldman at first, 2 down. Here's the leadoff man, Nick Markakis. He singled and scored in the first. Markakis is a guy that hits lefties pretty well. 274 versus left-hand pitching this year, just under 290 for his career. 1-1. Diamondbacks fell behind 4-0 yesterday after a half inning, and they're behind 2-0 here. So just like yesterday, they'll have to come from behind. Uh-oh. Noonan. Yay!
Nice work. You can sell that ball on eBay, and it'll just about pay for the chiropractor to fix your back.
Just dropped 2 pant sizes right there.
Very nice, sir. Give it to a kid. I love it. Nicely done, sir. Oh, he's giving away his glove.
Be down there sitting in that section tonight. 1-2 to Markakis. 3-2. Manny Machado is on deck. 39 pitches so far for Wade Miley, only 20 for strikes. Three and two outs. Runners are off with a pitch. Buck Showalter, the early lead here in his return to Chase Field. His first visit since the 2000 season.
Flanked by former Pirates manager and current bench coach for the Orioles, John Russell. A couple of familiar faces from Buck's days with the Diamondbacks on his staff.
Right back to Miley. Orioles strand two, but they get another run across. We'll go to the bottom of the second. It is 2-0 Baltimore, and a nice job by this D-backs fan. Well played, sir. Well played. And an NLS title during his 3 seasons as the Diamondbacks inaugural manager. And we go inside the Purple Vaults for a look at some history. 1999. Matt Williams recording the final out right there.
I was in that clubhouse getting champagne poured on my head.
Orioles on a long West Coast interleague road trip here. They swept 2 in San Diego. They took 2 of 3 at the Giants, and they are finishing with 3 against the Diamondbacks before heading home to Camden Yards. 2 strikeouts in the first for Scott Feldman. He'll face Aaron Hill, Martin Prado, and Gerardo Parra in the Arizona second.
Number 2, Aaron Hill.
See right there, the Orioles, Buck will tell you, life in the AL East is rigorous to say the least, but they've got a chance here to pick up some ground on the Red Sox. And the Rays, who have scuffled as of late, they lost 2 here, and they had a heck of a time over the weekend at Dodger Stadium. Aaron Hill leads off the second for the Diamondbacks, and this guy is on fire right now. 1-0. .299, 7 homers. He has recorded 2 hits in each of his last 4 games. He homered here Saturday and Sunday. Do we hear Monday? Gone! Aaron Hill, 3 games, 3 homers. It's 2-1. That's a Fulton home run and another 100 $50 goes to Central Arizona Mountain Rescue. Saturday, Sunday, and now Monday.
Breaking ball that stayed up in the zone for Aaron Hill. Yeah, his eyes lit up, got the barrel on that one, hit it about 3 rows back into the bleachers in left field. Puts his head right down the barrel of the bat at the point of contact. Stay hot.
14th home run given up this year by Scott Feldman. Diamondbacks answer now. Here is the equally hot Martin Prado. Prado got 10 home runs on the year. Aaron Hill, holy moly, he's hitting over 400 in August. He's hit now in 8 of his 9 games this month. Homers in 3 straight ball games. And Feldman now gives up the home run and falls behind 3-0 to Prado.
Well, as a manager, you get a guy as hot as Aaron Hill is right now, you'd love to figure out a way to get him up to the plate more than just once every 2 or 3 innings. You know, put a different jersey on him, send him back up there again.
It'd be innovative.
Well, you know, with Buck in the other dugout, that's never going to happen. You can't slide anything by Buck Showalter, but that's how good you feel about Aaron Hill at the plate right now. You know something good's going to happen. You want to see him up there every inning.
Ball 4. A home run and a walk to start off the second. Matt Wieters, conference time. Hey fans, D-backs 2014 season tickets are on sale right now. And remember, season ticket holders, they get to choose the best seats for the lowest prices with a new 12-month flexible payment plan. And when you buy now, you get priority to purchase postseason tickets. So buy or renew your 2014 Diamondbacks season seats. Call 602-462-4600 or log on to dbacks.com/tickets. Gerardo Parra. Boy, this has become a regular thing with Parra lately, Bob.
Well, he struggled for so long at the plate. I think he's going to try to do everything he can to jumpstart his offense, bunting his way on, showing bunt, and then trying to slap the ball by those corner infielders. Just take advantage of your strengths. I think Gerardo's a really good bunter and probably doesn't do it often enough.
One and one. He's been coming around lately. He's got a pair of base hits in each of his last 2 games, and those few games off last week seem to have done him a world of good. From behind home plate at Chase Field. A lot of offense already, bottom 2. Feldman misses there. It's 2-1. Mentioned he had lost his 2 previous starts. Beaten by Boston July 27th at Camden Yards. He lost his last start. That was a week ago Saturday, August 3rd. He allowed 5 runs, had 4 walks in less than 5 innings against Seattle. Longtime Texas Ranger.
And because of a couple of off days in the schedule, they have skipped him. He's had 8 days of rest, and they were hoping that that would get him back on track again.
Manny Machado. They get the force on Prado. Parra's aboard. Hey fans, FoxSportsArizona.com. All the online local sports coverage you won't find anywhere else. Tyrann Mathieu early standout at Cardinals camp. The Honey Badger. Sun Devils head north. And post-game analysis and reaction from the D-backs and the Orioles. Check it out at FoxSportsArizona.com. Ramtrucks.com pool. Some folks enjoying the water back there, others watching the game.
Well, it's a good night for it. I mean, that's the thing. You can actually get in the pool or the hot tub out there and watch the ball game. There's a television monitor out there. They can keep track of the game on the field. Always with an eye toward home run balls coming that direction.
Ball one to Will Nieves. Will at 358. And he has hit in 3 straight games and 8 of his last 9. Had the day off yesterday. Tuffy Gozawish was behind the plate. And Nieves back in there today. So Miguel Montero doing some hitting earlier down in the field. That was a good sign.
Got some catching work in down in the bullpen with bullpen coach Glenn Sherlock before the game. Had to feel good to strap the gear back on again.
Well, he spent the whole day yesterday fixing that glove. Two and one. Will Nieves having a career season at the age of 35. He's been around since 2002. In and out of the major league since then. His busiest seasons were 3 in Washington with the Nationals, 2008 through 2010. And when he was in D.C., Will played about 60, 70 games a year, but never hit higher than 261. But in 45 games so far with the Diamondbacks, he's hitting about 360. What a season. 2 and one.
And in his time with the Nationals, it wasn't unusual for Will Nieves to be pinch hit for late in the ball game. But because of the way he's swinging the bat this year, Kirk Gibson has used him as a pinch hitter 14 times.
Boy, that must have looked like a beach ball there.
Yeah, big, slow rolling curve ball up in the zone. That was really more a change of speed than the actual movement on the pitch that had Will Nieves out front.
2 and 2. There goes Gerardo Parra. Nieves drives it down the left field line, but pulls it foul. Kirk Gibson. Boy, that was executed nicely with Parra off on the pitch and Nieves driving it into left. Just couldn't keep it fair. Feldman's got an even split so far through 30 pitches, 15 balls, 15 strikes.
Parra could probably get an extra step or 2 on his lead over there. Feldman doesn't have the quickest feet in the world on that pickoff move to first base. Tries to make up for it by making firm throws over there to Chris Davis, but you can get a pretty good lead on him over there at first base.
What does that tell you?
Well, it tells me, once again, he doesn't have a great pickoff move. The base stealers recognize that rather quickly, and they're able to take an extra step or 2 on their primary lead, get that jump that they need to steal a base.
Gerardo Parra off with a pitch. Here's the throw from Wieters. And Gerardo Parra has it stolen. His 8th stolen base this season. And the Diamondbacks have the tying run in scoring position here with 1 out.
And that is on Feldman out there on the mound. Wieters got that ball on the outside part of the plate, got rid of it quickly, made a strong throw, just not in time to get Parra at second base. Wieters had thrown out 35% of the attempted base stealers coming into play tonight.
He's one of the better defensive catchers in baseball, certainly in the American League. So it's 3 and 2 to Will Nieves. Two down. Get the latest on the injury news. Here's Jody Jackson. Jody.
Yeah, guys, you were just discussing Miguel Montero. He's been dealing with the bulging disc in his back and the inflammation that goes along with it. But he says he's feeling a lot better. He actually hit out on the field today with the group. And, you know, Kirk Gibson is hoping that Miguel Montero might be able to play somewhere at the end of the week. And, of course, he is going to be eligible to come off the DL very soon. And Willie Bloomquist as well. They're hoping he'll be able to get out there and play. Of course, Willie's chomping at the bit. So Miguel Montero getting healthier and healthier. Of course, catching is the big thing right now.
Parra took off on the pitch. He'll come home. Feldman is there. And he's out at the plate. That ends the inning. And there's a discussion. Hold on. They're waving it off. Alfonso Marquez is ruling interference, the third base umpire. And here comes Buck Showalter. The ball, I don't know if it hit Didi or it hit off Wieder's glove. It caromed to the Orioles on deck circle. Parra, who was off with the pitch, just rounded third and came on in. And here's Buck and Alfonso Marquez.
Yeah, right there. Hey, you've got to give the runner a chance to round that base, get out of the baseline. Machado just caught spectating that time, and the fact that Gerardo Parra made contact, that's all you have to do. Even though he was out by a wide margin at home plate, the interference by the third baseman Manny Machado gives Gerardo Parra an extra base.
The Diamondbacks caught a break there.
Big time break.
Do you agree with the call?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with Alfonso Marquez. That's the right call to make. Yeah, you have to give that runner room at the baseline. He's entitled to the baseline unless there's a play at that base. There was no play at third base that time. Machado clearly standing in the way. It's very important that Gerardo Parra make contact with Machado, which he did.
Obstruction is on the fielder. Interference is on the runner. And Alfonso Marquez said that there was some obstruction on the part of Manny Machado. One more look.
You see right there, standing on the bag, nowhere for Parra to go except to make contact with the defender. Well, Buck may be arguing that Parra wasn't trying to go home, but you could clearly see on that play he rounded the bag at third with every intention of trying to score.
And so the tying run in any case comes across for the Diamondbacks. Alfonso Marquez rules obstruction on Manny Machado, and the tying run scores. It's a 1-0 count to Didi Gregorius in a 2-2 ball game. Now it caromed off Matt Wieder's glove. It didn't hit Didi. It sounded like it might have hit his bat or part of Gregorius, but you'll see the ball goes off Wieder's mitt right there, and that sent it over to the on-deck circle near the Orioles dugout. And Parra off with a pitch is granted home plate. So you score that, a stolen base on third for Parra. He scores on obstruction. So he steals 2 bases in that inning.
And because of the obstruction, Manny Machado will be charged with an error down there at third base.
Stolen base, obstruction, E5. It's 2-2. 1-2 to Didi.
Number of pitches up in the zone here to Didi Gregorius. Apparently the scouting report that Scott Feldman and the Orioles have come up with against the Diamondbacks shortstop is to try to get him to chase high fastballs. That's one thing in a 3-game series or an occasional 4-game series, you always wanted to face the other team's best control command pitcher in the first game of the series, because you're coming fresh out of the advance report, and whatever that report said about a hitter, the guy who can command the baseball is going to execute that advance report. You see Feldman throwing a lot of high fastballs. We'll watch the rest of the series and see if other Oriole pitchers try to do the same to Didi.
Up the middle, and Didi beats it out. J.J. Hardy couldn't quite get it out of the mid on the transfer, and Gregorius is aboard. Slowly hit ball. He might have had a shot at him, but he just couldn't get it out of the glove.
And when he misses on that first grab in the glove to find the handle on the ball, that just throws off the rhythm of the play. Now he's got to rush his throw. Nearly fired it in the dirt to Chris Davis. Yeah, see right there, just didn't have a good handle, had to re-grip in the glove, and that's all the time Didi needed to hustle down that first base line, get himself an infield hit.
Wade Miley.
Actually, it's been ruled an error.
It was a hit a moment ago. They just changed it. And we talked about the defense. That's a Gold Glover out there at short, and Miley lines it into center. Now that's a base hit. Seen a little bit of everything here so far through 1 2/3.
A lot of things we didn't expect to see, but a middle of the zone fastball. Wade Miley ambushes that first pitch, lines it right back where it came from.
Rick Adair's out there for a conversation. Hey fans, join us for a great evening on Throwback Night, Saturday, August 31st. We saw the Purple Vault. The D-backs will wear the throwback black, purple, and teal jerseys for that game against the Giants on the 31st of August. And then after the game, welcome back former D-back greats Matt Williams, Steve Finley, Gonzo, and many more for the second annual Alumni Game. For more information, you can log on to dbacks.com/alumni. Diamondbacks with 2 on and 2 out now. For the top of the order, A.J. Pollock, who struck out looking his first time up. Talked about how this was a matchup of 2 excellent defensive teams, and so far we've seen a pair of Baltimore errors. One on the obstruction on Machado, and the wall on we just saw on J.J. Hardy.
And even though he wasn't credited with an error, Didi Gregorius' wide throw to second base eliminated a chance of a double play earlier in the ball game. So not exactly what we expected to see with the leather so far.
AJ back in the leadoff spot tonight. Had a big day batting leadoff yesterday. 3 singles, he scored twice.
Now, the Orioles have only made 3 errors in their last 19 games, 2 in this inning.
That was the 5th hit of the year, by the way, for Wade Miley. Boy, that's been an effective pitch for him. Those just hanging nothing balls. They're jumping out of their shoes.
Yeah, serves the purpose of a real good changeup. I mentioned he'll throw an occasional straight change to a left-handed hitter, but he uses that curveball and changes speeds on it to the righties to affect that off-speed pitch.
On the ground to second, Brian Roberts from the edge of the outfield grass, and the Diamondbacks strand 2, but they tie it up. It's 2-2. Aaron Hill, his 3rd homer in 3 games. It is 2-2 through 2 at Chase. Major League Draft. First pick overall, Bryce Harper. The third pick overall, Manny Machado. Number 7, Matt Harvey. So far, so good for that group. At 13, you see the White Sox ace Chris Sale, who actually was pitching for the White Sox later that same year. And Manny Machado, out of private school in Miami, the third overall pick by the Orioles in that 2010 draft. He was picked right behind Bryce Harper, and then Pittsburgh had the second pick. They took Jameson Taillon, a pitcher from the Woodlands in Texas, which is the same high school program that produced Paul Goldschmidt. Machado singled his first time up, leading the major leagues with 42 doubles. And this guy's really hitting the ball well this month. He's hit in 8 of his 9 games in August. 5 of those have been multi-hit games. Manny Machado was asked, hey, what's your secret for all these doubles? You're getting so many extra base hits at such a young age. How do you do it? And he said, well, I just swing and I hit the white ball coming at me.
And then run. Yeah, Manny Machado, exciting young player. You've probably seen some of his defensive exploits at third base on the highlight shows. This guy is quite the young up-and-coming third baseman. He's going to be a star for years.
1-2. Little nubber in front of the mound. Miley has to hurry, and they just do get Machado up the line. 1 out. Whew. Yeah, close.
Wade was being a little extra deliberate on that chopper out in front of home plate, and Machado, you can see right there, busting it down to first baseline, made it a close play.
Wow, half a step. Be careful with Adam Jones. He is having an enormous month of August. He's hit in 9 straight games this month. He's batting .472 in August. Jones, Jacoby Ellsbury, and Miguel Cabrera, the only major leaguers with at least 4 hitting streaks of at least 9 games this year. 9 straight for Jones right now.
Three-time All-Star is Jones. Got his first start in the outfield for the American League this year. Garnered nearly 7 million votes to become one of the 3 starters in the outfield for the American League.
There's his numbers. .472 this month. All 9 games coming in August. That's rolled to short. Didi has to hurry. Jones busting it up the line, but that's the second out. Chris Davis hit some long home runs, some really long home runs, like this one Saturday at AT&T Park.
Yeah, he just takes such an easy swing at the ball, but it goes so far when he makes solid contact.
I mean, you don't see a lot of balls hit there in that ball.
No.
He grounded out his first time.
Some power hitters, you can tell they're power hitters by the way they swing. They're trying to generate power. They use their legs. They use their upper body. They really swing hard with an uppercut swing. Davis is very easy. Everything is nice and smooth and relaxed. But, man, I'll tell you, at the point of contact, he has as much bat speed as anybody.
He has 41 extra base hits on the road this year. That is the most of the major leagues.
I like the idea so far. Wade Miley trying to crowd him inside. Big, strong guy like this has power to all fields. Don't let him extend his arms. Try to take some of that power away.
Just misses there. It's 1-2. Davis hitting only the home runs by direction. He's hitting .245 against left-hand pitchers this year. He crushes righties. 11 of his 42 homers this year against left-handers. Chases that one, and there's the strikeout. A nice 1-2-3 third for Wade Miley. We'll go to the home half. It's a 2-2 ball game. Thank you, Don. That's not good news for the Diamondbacks, who began the day 5.5 games behind the Reds for that second National League wild card. So it's a 2-0 Reds win at Wrigley. It's 2-2 here at Chase. Bottom three against Scott Feldman, Adam Eaton, Paul Goldschmidt, and Aaron Hill. 2, 3, and 4 for the Diamondbacks. Here's a look at the NL wild card. It's a chase now. The Pirates lead the National League Central. They are the division leader there, but the two teams behind Pittsburgh in that division occupy the 2 wild card spots right now, St. Louis and Cincinnati. So D-backs fans, you're checking the Reds game every day. How's Cincinnati doing? Who are they facing? Where are they? She's got her game face on. Where they continued, Bob, to take these wild swings at some of this soft stuff.
Usually the best approach against a soft tosser is to really let that ball get deep to the point of almost feeling like the pitch is by you, and then slap it to the opposite field. If you start swinging aggressively against Scott Feldman, he'll just take a little more off, get you further and further out front. Crafty righty.
2-2. He's worked it full. Adam Eaton has it safely in 4 straight games and 5 of his last 6. Fourth strikeout for Feldman, 1 down in the 3rd.
Having Pollock and Eaton together at the top of the order, you'd sure like for one or both of those guys to reach base ahead of the Thunder in the middle of the lineup for the D-backs, but Eaton swings right through one that time.
It's interesting. All those pitches are up. It's not like they're dropping down and diving in the dirt and guys are chasing. They're missing when those pitches are elevated. Goldie struck out his first time. Goldie at 296. He's hitting under 220 so far in August. 1-1. Popular shirt here. Two and 2. Paul Goldschmidt, last 16 games, maybe a little tired at this point in the year. Some August dog days for Goldie.
Wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he is a creature of habit, a creature to his routine. He was out here running with some of the guys on the bench tonight, Matt Davidson and Will Nieves, Cliff Pennington, out running in the outfield at about 2 o'clock this afternoon. And Goldie plays every night. We know that. He's going to play every ball game. I think at some point maybe Gibby's going to have to rein him in just a little bit. Save some of that energy for game time.
He strikes out for the second time. 5 strikeouts for Feldman. Here comes Aaron Hill. That brings up our Ram Trucks tools of the trade. Aaron Hill homered in the second inning. So that's 3 games, 3 home runs. It starts Saturday. One off Zach Wheeler of the Mets. And then yesterday, he homers in the 3rd. Jonathan Neese. And then tonight in the second off Feldman. 3 games, 3 homers.
He's had 4 straight multi-hit games. If he find another way to get a base hit tonight, it'd make it 5 straight, which would be a career high. He's just red hot, rolling right now.
We were talking about Goldie getting a break. Remember when Aaron Hill returned from that hand injury at the end of June? His timing appeared off a bit, looked fatigued. Kirk Gibson thought he needed a break. He was hitting under 250 in his first 24 games back and Maybe sat him down for a game, then pulled him out of the next game. Said, yeah, he needs a blow. He looks a little bit, looks like he's fighting it, just needs a break. And that worked, because since July 24th, Aaron has hit .385 and slugged almost .700. Since that little game and a half off, it's been hard to get him out.
That's part of your job as a manager. It goes along with the gig to try to figure out how to best motivate each player, how to read those body language signs that maybe a guy's getting a little tired, maybe needs a day off. Gonzo was up here visiting in the booth before the ball game. All I had to do was tell him, boy, you look a little tired. That was it. He was going to go on a rampage.
Manny Machado. He's got a strong arm. It's a 1-2-3 third for Feldman. We are through 3. It's 2-2. And Diamondbacks at Chase Field. And fans, the D-backs and Fox Sports Arizona are teaming up to select the next D-backs legend to be honored at the Legends Entertainment District here in downtown Phoenix. And fans, you can vote now at foxsportsarizona.com for D-backs legends: Bob Brenly, Steve Finley, Matt Williams, or Curt Schilling. And then tune into the pregame show August 31st for the unveiling of the newest D-back legend.
Well, the last time I saw Steve Finley, he certainly looked like he could still play. We know Matt Williams can. Curt Schilling, not so much, and my days are long gone.
A mile high to left, Adam Eaton. JJ Hardy is retired, 1 out in the 4th.
The reason we know Matty can still do it is because we saw him again today taking batting practice off of Charlie Nagy well before the team came out on the field.
And you know, Buck observed this, actually. Buck Showalter, because he heard about this, came out and saw Matt Williams taking some BP and talked to Jody about it. Jody.
Yeah, no question about it. You know, Buck Showalter reminiscing about his times here, and he noted just the stadium and everything. He noted a couple of guys over there, Glenn Sherlock, who he brought over here in '98, and Matt Williams. He saw him taking batting practice. He said, you know what, he looks pretty good. He could possibly DH, in fact, you know. So it was interesting hearing his comments and Buck Showalter reminiscing about his times here as the first manager of the Diamondbacks.
It's going to be quite an event. And my partner here is in the Final Four. Not to influence the voting. Steve Pearce. Steve Pearce is 30 years old. He's had over 100 at-bats in the big leagues only 3 times. And never more than 165 in a season.
He showed some flashes from time to time with the Pirates, and it seemed like every time they were just about to award him an everyday job, he'd go in the tank for a couple of weeks and end up battling for playing time again.
Base hit. Snaps his streak of 6 straight retired by Miley. And the Orioles have a 2-out base runner. Yeah, Steve Pearce has, in one point, has been the property of the Pirates, the Twins, the Yankees, the Orioles, the Astros, the Yankees again, and now the Orioles again.
The moral of that story is don't burn bridges.
Or unpack.
Yeah, or unpack. Yeah, save all your duffel bags. You never know when you might need them again.
Brian Roberts. That was interesting. Pearce didn't really dive back. He just kind of fell. He wasn't that far away to begin with. Brian Roberts, an RBI single, his first time up. A little bit more of a dive that time.
Yeah, a little bit more trouble reading the move that time. He was very late diving back to the bag at first.
Wade's got his full Duck Dynasty beard going. He's ready for the new season. There's the strike, 0-1. AT&T Twitter poll time. What 2 teams will be the AL wildcards? Orioles, Rangers, Rays, or A's? Tweet your vote to @Fox Sports Arizona. BB, what do you think?
I don't know. I still think the A's have a good chance of winning that West again. I picked them last year when they were behind by about 3 or 4 games with a week and a half to go. I still think Oakland's going to win that division.
So Texas would be one.
Yeah, Texas would be one, and I liked what I saw from that Tampa Bay team when they were in town. Even though the Diamondbacks swept that series, that's a good-looking ball club. We didn't see their best on the mound.
Yu Darvish almost no-hit the Astros today. That was a wild ball game. Darvish had a perfect game going. Ron Kulpa was the plate umpire. Called a walk. A.J. Przinsky, Darvish's catcher, got ejected in the middle of the no-hitter, arguing the call. Darvish finally lost it in the 8th inning, gave up a home run.
See, I blame that on Yu Darvish. His stuff is so good. It's not only hard to hit, it's hard to catch, and it's hard to umpire. That was a nasty slider down at the bottom of the kneecaps.
He struck out 15. And the Diamondback can speak to that. Twice this year, Darvish struck out 14 D-backs. It's going to be interesting Cy Young call, I think, between Scherzer and Darvish in the AL.
Are you wavering a little? You picked Darvish very early.
I did pick
on
Darvish.
This year.
Well, Max Scherzer just keeps winning games.
That's all, yeah.
Even without a whole, especially great bullpen out there in Detroit. 1-2. Right field, Gerardo Parra. That's over his head. It rolls to the wall. Steve Pearce will come in and score. It's 3-2 Baltimore. RBI double for Brian Roberts, his 6th of the year.
Two RBI out of the 8th spot in the lineup here tonight. Just a middle cut fastball. Didn't have much movement either direction. Roberts golfs it out there in that gap in right center field. Boy, you'd really like to bury those guys at the bottom of the order, but Pearce with a hit and a run scored. Roberts with 2 hits, 2 RBI. And now the Orioles will clear their pitcher, Scott Feldman, here in the top half of the 4th.
Wade Miley had a 1-2-3 third. He had retired the first 2 here in the 4th, 6 in a row, in fact, but then a single by Pearce and a double by Roberts, and now it's 3-2-0s.
I mentioned it in his first at bat when he tried to put down a sacrifice bunt. The Diamondbacks were able to get the lead runner at third base on that play, so it'll go as a fielder's choice for Feldman. But this guy can swing the bat a little bit. Had a home run, a couple doubles, and 8 runs driven in his time pitching for the Chicago Cubs. Even hanging in there tough against the lefty.
Is there a general book on pitchers hitting if you're a catcher? I mean, is there a scouting report for different guys, or you basically use the same plan all the time?
Do that.
That'll work. They strand one, but they get one. Bottom four coming up. It's 3-2 Orioles. It's over. They're going to lose 16 in a row.
Well, we've been saying that for the better part of a month and a half now. They can't do this forever. Well, maybe tonight's the night the worm turns.
7.5 right now. Dodgers just beat up Tampa Bay over the weekend. Clayton Kershaw was fantastic last night. And Alasko on the mound tonight, trailing 2-0. It's 3-2 here at Chase Field. The Orioles lead the Diamondbacks, set for the bottom of the fourth inning. Scott Feldman will face Martin Prado, Gerardo Parra, and Will Nieves, 5, 6, and 7 in the Arizona fourth. There's a guy, hey, it's his birthday. Try to get a home run from Gerardo. A little weird for Feldman, I imagine, Bobby. He said he's a pretty good hitter. It's not like he's never hit before, but, you know, hitting or ending an inning and then going back out and pitching is not part of his normal routine, pitching in the American League.
Completely different rhythm to the game when you have to take your at-bats. And as we said, Feldman used to it from his time with the Cubs in the National League, but not what he's used to this year.
Martin Prado walked his first time up. Straight as a statue on the first pitch again. It's 1-0. Martin Prado over the last 30 days hitting almost .340. Only 8 players in the league have more hits over the last month. He's hit better than .350 since the All-Star break with 15 RBIs.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Just be ready. That's all we ask. She's sitting on an aisle seat. You notice that? Just in case we have to quickly leave the area, we're right on the aisle.
Didn't we have a guy here the other night whose wife was home on the verge of going into labor? At least he brought her along.
There was a sign that said, "Don't go into labor again. I'll be home after the D-backs win." I think she's since filed. That's a fan right there.
Yes, indeed.
Whole family out at the ball game. 3-2. He did not go, says Mike DeMiro at first. Leadoff man on for the Diamondbacks, and that's the second walk here for Martin Prado.
He's able to check his swing on that 3-2 curveball from Feldman. Upset with himself out there on the mound. His team just gave him the lead back with that run in the top half of the fourth, and then he promptly walks the leadoff hitter in the bottom of the fourth. Visibly upset out there on the mound.
Gerardo Parra had an unusual trip around the bases his first time. He reached on a fielder's choice, stole second, stole third, and was awarded home plate on obstruction by Manny Machado. That was the tying run, made it 2-2. Third base umpire Alfonso Marquez ruling obstruction on Manny Machado and awarding Parra home plate. Ruling in his judgment that Parra would have scored had he not been obstructed. Just remember, obstruction is always on the fielder, interference is always on the runner. Two and 0. The view from the RamTrucks.com pool area, you can see it right behind the outfielders there. And not very high off the ground. You get a good look. This was Gerardo Parra's trip around the bases in the second. He reached on a fielder's choice, then a clean steal of second. And he's in there. And then this was third. Watch the obstruction here right there. And Marquez awards him home, even though he's a dead duck at home plate. And Buck Showalter arguing there was no way he would have scored had he not been obstructed with, but Alfonso Marquez. And that's umpire's judgment, right, Buck?
Yeah, apparently so. I think Buck had a good argument that time. I don't think Parra scores without the obstruction, but we'll take it.
It tied the game 2-2 at the time. Orioles retook the lead in the top of this inning on a Brian Roberts RBI double. Hard down the line and foul. On pitch number 70 by Scott Feldman. He's not been terribly efficient. He's got 38 strikes and 32 balls.
That's kind of part of his game plan too. Feldman is a guy that will nibble. We've seen it already in this ball game. When he's at his best, he's around the edges of the strike zone, giving the appearance of a strike. And by the time you make up your mind to swing at the ball, it drops off either corner of the plate.
2-2. He's got 6 strikeouts, 1 out in the fourth.
There's a breaking ball that gives the illusion of the strike on the inside corner of the plate. By the time Parra pulls the trigger, the down and in movement of that curveball takes it right out of the strike zone.
Will Nieves struck out his first time up.
I talked about Wieters earlier. For a big catcher, 6'5", 240 pounds or so, he moves so effortlessly behind the plate. A lot of times a big boned, big bodied catcher really labors to move around behind the plate, but Wieters very athletic, very easy movements back there, very quiet. He just reaches across and picks that one on the backhand side. Anytime you pick a ball cleanly out of the dirt, you always look to the runner immediately to see if there's a pickoff play. Your natural instinct as a base runner when you see a ball in the dirt is to take that extra step or two off the bag. And when the catcher picks it cleanly like Wieters did on that last one, it invites a pickoff attempt.
He has won the American League Gold Glove for catchers each of the last 2 seasons. Matt Wieters. 6'5", 240. 2-0. Popped up first base side. Davis near the dugout. Out of play. They got some big dudes on this team. And Davis is as big as a mountain out there, and Wieters is 6'5" catcher. Machado's a tall guy for a 21-year-old. Adam Jones, Markakis, some horses on this team.
How about this for Wieters? He's one of just 3 players in Georgia Tech history to earn first-team All-American honors twice. The other 2, Jason Varitek and Nomar Garciaparra. Pretty good company.
I'm a rambling wreck from Georgia Tech, and I'm a hell of an engineer. 2-1. Will sit in 3 straight games. It's funny, Wieters kneeling is almost as tall as our guy standing. Will Nieves 5'11", 190. 2-2. Will's good at this too. I think Goldie does this a lot, and Didi Gregorius for a young guy. Will Nieves can spoil his share of good pitches and force the other guy to throw more and maybe hang one. Drive up pitch counts. Martin Prado, 3 stolen bases. He's been caught 5 times. Chased another high one there. And that's 7 strikeouts now for Scott Feldman. Hey fans, the Fox Sports Arizona Fan Express, presented by Cox Communications and Fry's Food Stores, is coming to Chase Field September 15th, and you can be on board. Stop by this month's participating Cox retail store in Douglas, and you can enter to win 2 seats on the Fan Express bus, round trip transportation on the big Sedona Red Goldie bus. More information at foxsportsarizona.com. Here's Didi. Well, that little hanging nothing ball that Feldman throws must just look like a beach ball, because they're still swinging out of their shoes at it. He's got 7 strikeouts, and it seems like every one has been on the same pitch.
If you watch the velocity on those pitches, though, they're not all the same. They look like the same pitch, but just subtle differences in velocity. One will be 77, the next one will be 72, and then he'll throw one at 76. Just enough to throw your timing off.
Didi reached on an error his first time. He's in an 0 for 18 right now. Prado bluffs, and Wieters jumps up there.
A little tougher for a catcher with that left-handed batter in the box there. You can't really see the runner down there at first base. You have to really rely on your teammates and the guys on the bench to let you know when he's breaking for second base, and occasionally you'll get fooled like Wieters did that time.
He is a big dude back there. 2-1. Didi fights it off and drops it into shallow left. That snaps the 0 for 18. 2 on, 2 out for the Diamondbacks, and they can at least clear the pitcher.
Little sinker away. Didi stays right on it, just flips it into left field. Little soft line drive ahead of Steve Pearce out there. Yeah, hopefully that's the start of big things for Didi. He's been scuffling for quite a while.
Wade Miley, hard shot to center his first time up for a base hit. See if he's feeling hitterish again here.
See if he gets another meatball on the first pitch. He'll cut her right in on his knuckles that time. If you're going to act like a hitter, I'm going to pitch you like a hitter.
Does he have any fingers left after that? This is just eats him up.
Get off me, ball.
Hold to first. Davis takes it himself. And the Diamondbacks strand 2. We are through 4. They trail the Orioles here 3-2. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Due up for Baltimore. The top of the order, Markakis, Machado, and Jones. Powered by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By Mazda, we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. And by Lone Butte Casino, you're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. Beautiful night to be out at Chase Field. Buck Showalter back in town as Orioles lead the Diamondbacks 3-2 on a very unusual game so far. We've had a run score and an obstruction call. Another Aaron Hill home run. A little bit of everything. We go back to May of '98 inside the Purple Vault. He walks Barry Bonds with the bases full.
Forced in a run. And Brent Maine hit a line drive to Brett Brady out in right field, who had to go down to his knees to make the play. D-backs bring home the victory.
Buck Showalter back for the first time since 2000. Nick Markakis leads off the 5th against Wade Miley. Nick Markakis hasn't homered in 40 games. June 24th was his last home run. He's still hitting. He's at 285 right now, but his power production is almost stopped completely. Rolls that one a second. Aaron Hill is there. That's the first out. Markakis' slugging percentage since his last home run is less than his on-base percentage. And in the 40 games he's gone without a homer, he's got only 6 RBIs. And so Oriole fans are wondering, what happened to Nick Markakis? He's been in the leadoff spot tonight. He came up as a 20-plus homer guy. Here's Manny Machado. Machado singled in the first, grounded back to the mound in the third. Machado has hit in, now 9 of his 10 games this month. 5 of those have been multi-hit games. Ramtrucks.com pool. Be quiet out there, no hijinks. That one is driven high and deep to left center field. A.J. Pollock That's one thing, Bob. You've got Eaton backing him up right there. This is as good a defensive outfield as maybe any major league team can put out there in terms of covering the gaps and the lines.
Absolutely. I mean, all three possess great speed. They get good reads on the ball, take good lines to the baseball. And, you can afford to cheat a little bit one way or the other if you're A.J. Pollock, knowing that the other guy on either wing can cover just as much ground as you can.
Eaton in left, Pollock in center, and Parra in right. Adam Jones 0 for 2. Having another big year. He was brilliant last season in Baltimore. Hit .287, had a 32 homer season, played in every game, finished 6th in the AL MVP voting.
He's a borderline WW, though. 93 strikeouts on the season, only 16 base on balls.
Up the middle, off Miley. Didi is there, though. That's a 1-6-3. We'll see if Wade Miley's okay as he walks back to the dugouts. Home half of the 5th on the way. Diamondbacks down 3-2. Bob, like that comebacker caught Wade Miley on the inside or the back of the right knee.
You can see how he falls off the mound to that third base side, not in great fielding position. He's been hit a few times this year with comebackers out there on the mound, and as accomplished as Wade Miley is in the early part of his career, this is something that he's going to have to get better at, get in a better fielding position. He's a ground ball pitcher. Ground ball pitchers tend to get a lot of balls hit back through the mound. I constantly go back to Greg Maddux. Greg Maddux, once he let that ball go, he looked like a shortstop out there on the mound. He was ready to react, ready to make plays because he knew he was going to get a lot of comebackers.
Well, Wade Miley went directly into the Diamondbacks clubhouse as soon as he walked off the field, and we don't see him back in there yet. There is no one throwing for the Diamondbacks in their bullpen. So we'll keep a close eye on that as A.J. Pollock leads off the 5th. A.J. has struck out and grounded out 0 for 2. Yeah, Wade Miley, you mentioned it, Bob. Ground ball pitcher. He is a 12th in all of baseball in ground ball percentage at 52%, and he's limping a bit there in the dugout. It's happened to him a number of times this year. AJ lays off that. It's 2-1. Last time he took one Off a comeback, he had to spend the rest of the game standing up.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who that was against, but similar situation. Wade just paced up and down the dugout the rest of the ball game because every time he sat down, he felt like it was stiffening up on him, so he kept moving to keep it loose and pitched a gem.
I think that one got him on the knee too, if I recall it. A lot harder than that one appeared to, the one tonight. You can see the training staff is having a running conversation here. 2-2 to A.J. Pollock. And with the way that he's been pitching lately, that's the last thing they need. One thing about facing this Baltimore lineup, which is so good, you have to think that the Diamondbacks really have their three best in this series in Miley, Delgado, and Corbin. These guys can mash. 2-2.
Well, Adam Jones, probably one of the best players nobody knows about. I mean, I mentioned he got more votes than anybody else in the outfield in the American League. A lot of those came from the East Coast, but people in National League cities, you hear the name, you see the highlights from time to time, but those that watch Adam Jones play every day insist he's one of the best players in the game.
First round pick by Seattle in the 03 draft from Morse High School in San Diego. 3 All-Star appearances, 2 Gold Gloves. He was an All-Star this year. 3-2. Driven to right, Markakis can't get there. It rolls to the wall, and AJ takes the turn. He will head for third. Fourth triple this year for A.J. Pollock, and the Diamondbacks have the tying run at third with no outs in the 5th.
Good because he made it, but once again, Diamondbacks base runner running right through Matt Williams' sign. Pollock driving that ball over the head of Markakis, picks it up right in front of you out there in the right center field gap. The relay throw onto third just a tick late, but Matt Williams had his hands up in the air from the moment A.J. Pollock got close to second base. Don't want to make that first out of the inning at third. You have to be sure you can make it. That was a little too close.
Adam Eaton. Hard to first. Davis scoops it up and quickly looks Pollock back to the bag at third. Nice play there by Chris Davis. He's not all about the home runs.
Well, he's another guy right out of the same mold of Paul Goldschmidt. We talk about Goldie and the 3 unassisted at first base. Goldie still leads the majors with 116 3 unassisted at first base. Chris Davis with 2 in the game tonight now has 92. Why risk a throw? That time he didn't even have to think about a throw. That ball led him right to the bag.
Goldie has struck out twice. Tying run at third, 1 out in the 5th. Well above major league average, getting that run home. That's how you get to lead the league in RBIs. Oh, 0-2. Leading the National League, third in the majors.
That was the old change the eye level fastball there. Up above the shoulders from Feldman. If he throws one up that high, it's intentional.
Well, you can get it up there pretty good coming at you from 6 feet 7 inches tall. Goldie just does stay alive there.
Yeah, Just gets a piece of this sinking fastball at 92. Best fastball we've seen from Feldman in this game so far.
Approaching 100 pitches. And he strikes out Paul Goldschmidt for the 3rd time tonight. And now there are 2 down for Aaron Hill.
Second baseman, Aaron Hill.
A wicked downward movement on that sinking fastball.
Well, the Diamondbacks have got to find a way to get this run home after the leadoff triple by Pollock, a ground ball by Eaton, a strikeout by Goldschmidt. And here's Hill, who homered in the second. 1-0. Aaron hitting over 400 in August. He's hit in 8 of his 9 games this month.
I'm not sure what he did in his time with the Blue Jays, but the Orioles are playing him to hit the ball to the opposite field in the outfield. You see Jones out there a couple 3 steps over toward the gap in right center. You can see the burnt mark out there in left field where straightaway is. Steve Pearce playing over in the gap in left center field. They apparently saw something when he was a Blue Jay that we haven't seen here as a member of the Diamondbacks.
Well, Weeder set up down and away on that last one. Let's see how they pitch to him right here. Going to go down and away again here. Yeah, and this is one of the best pull hitters, as you can see right there. The spray chart is fairly one-sided.
Yeah, the 3 hits to right field, I think, were all cue shots off the end of the bat. Yeah, he was trying to pull the ball. He just hit him off the end of the bat and squirted him the other way.
3-1. Popped him up. Leaders will give it a look behind the plates. Right side of play.
They got a pretty good pitch to hit there, outer part of the plate where he could get extended. Just got under it. Fortunately, popped it out of play behind home plate.
You saw the Fox tracks there on the pitches. Everything to Hill. Away, away, away. Which is hard to pull anything down that left field line when it's out in the left-hand batter's box. 3-2. Coming in here. Roll to third, Machado. A.J. Pollock, a leadoff triple. He is stranded at third. We'll head to the 6th inning. It's still 3-2 Orioles. by Ram Trucks, proud partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And by Jack in the Box. Go big at a participating Jack in the Box with Jack's really big chicken sandwich combos for only $3.99 plus tax. Wade Miley back out there after taking one off the knee, and you can see the shift is on for Chris Davis, and he hits right into it. Chance at first, and they got him! Aaron Hill throws out Chris Davis from shallow right. Put that down as a 4-3 putout.
I think Aaron got fooled just a little bit by the ball off the bat of Chris Davis. You can see where he's playing out there in shallow right. He comes in a step or two. He can field that ball in the air, but waits to play it on the big hop and just does get it to Goldie in time for the out at first.
J.J. Hardy. That would make me mad if I was him. I mean, you're not supposed to do that. He usually avoids that by hitting it over everyone's heads.
Yeah, beat the shift by hitting it to fans in the stands.
Check the condition of Wade Miley's knee. The comebacker appeared to glance off. Would have been the back of the knee or the thigh on the right leg for Wade. Doesn't appear to be limping noticeably at all. Already doubled and scored in the second. He's 1 for 2. Drives that one to center. A.J. Pollock came in, now backs up and drifts toward the track for the second out. You can see Wade Miley. There was a time there, Bob, where he just couldn't figure out what he was doing or where it was going, but he figured it out quickly.
And a good lesson if you think of the big picture, and Wade Miley's career here in Arizona figures to be a long and successful one. You have to struggle, and you have to figure out ways to fix things when you are struggling, and it took Wade a little bit of time, but it appears he's figured it out. Valuable lesson to learn very early on in your career.
Well, Wade Miley during his recent run has simply become less hittable. Opponents since July 1st batting only .210 against him. Here's a strike to Wieters. It's 2-1. He's allowed only 4 home runs in his last 7 starts. And this is a typical Wade Miley start in terms of how he's been effective. He has only 2 strikeouts. He's walked only 1. And he's getting a lot of ground balls.
I've heard pitching coaches and pitchers talk about over the course of 30 starts during a regular season, you may have 5 where you have no hitter stuff. They're not going to touch you. You'll have 5 starts where you have absolutely nothing. It's what you do with those other 20 starts.
A.J. Pollock will watch that one go for a home run. Matt Wieters, his 16th, makes it 4-2 Orioles.
That looked like a routine fly ball to center off the bat. Wieters apparently got some backspin on that one because it just continued to carry. Deepest part of the ballpark.
18th home run allowed by Wade Miley. That was the problem, one of them anyway, earlier in the year.
And once again, just a middle of the plate fastball that didn't have a lot of movement. I'm not sure if he's trying to throw 4 seamers, maybe get a little extra velocity, but that ball didn't even wiggle going up to the plate. Straight as a string right in the middle.
Steve Pearce singled and scored his last time. Well, just mentioned it a moment ago. He'd only given up 4 homers in his last 7 starts, and now it's a 4-2 ball game as he heads into 90 pitches. Two and 2. Miley had retired 6 straight. He got the first 2 outs in the 4th before Pierce singled and Roberts doubled for a run. And he got the first 2 in the 6th before the Wieters homer. And he's through the inning. The Baltimore ads are on. They lead it 4-2. And a 4-2 lead after the Matt Wieters home run, and at 103 pitches so far, he's given up only 2 runs on 4 hits, and he has 8 strikeouts.
Very, very crafty for Feldman tonight. He's normally a guy that tries to pitch to easy contact, let his defense work behind him, but has had good command of the sinker, cutter, and curveball tonight, adding and subtracting, throwing fastballs by some pretty good fastball hitters, and then pulling the string on that slow breaking ball.
Well, we'll see how long he goes here now that he's over 100 for the ball game already. He's been over 100 pitches 12 times this year. His high for the season is 114. That was back on May 1st in a win over the Padres at Wrigley Field when he was with the Cubs. Wade Miley now explaining what happened on that last one. Martin Prado leads off the 6th. He has walked both times up. Diamondback bullpen now. We'll see how they respond. A couple of moves that we mentioned near the top of the show. Chaz Rowe is here. He's been recalled from Reno, as has Tyler Skaggs. Skaggs replaces Cody Ross on the roster now that Cody's on the DL with that dislocated right hip. Zeke Sproul was sent down to AAA. And so Cody on the DL, Sproul to Reno, and here tonight are Tyler Skaggs and Chaz Rowe. So some fresh arms back there for Kirk Gibson.
Yeah, talking to Gibby before the game, Josh Colmenter with another 3-inning outing last night, and they felt that maybe Josh starting to show some signs of wear and tear, and all the innings that he's thrown this year out of the bullpen, they just wanted to make sure they had themselves covered in that pen should there be another short outing in the very near future.
There's Chaz Rowe, often mistaken for Josh Colmenter on very far away camera shots. That is Chaz. They look alike with those beards. Prado lays off that one. It's full 3-2. There's Josh. Orioles bullpen has some activity down there as Feldman approaches 110 pitches. Shortstop J.J. Hardy, the backhander. A throw from the edge of the grass, and that's the first out. More on the transactions column. Here's Jody.
Guys, you mentioned the roster moves and help for that bullpen right now with Colmenter pitching yesterday. Kirk Gibson described the moves, though, as temporary because he's looking toward Trevor Cahill possibly joining the team, possibly starting this weekend on the road trip. He had a pretty good outing last night. Cahill said he felt good, got stronger as the night went on. And the other thing to note right now, playing with a short bench, just 4 position players on the bench, and so look for someone to be added later on.
Well, right now Buck Showalter is pulling the old double switch. Nate McLouth is going out to left. Steve Pearce will leave the game, and a new pitcher enters for Baltimore. We'll take a break at Chase Field. Diamondbacks trail the Orioles 4-2. New pitcher for Baltimore, a one-time part of their rotation. Now a valuable left-hand arm out of their bullpen for Buck Showalter. This is Brian Mattis.
Out of St. Mary's High School, went to the University of San Diego. Yeah, struggled in the rotation, but seems to have found a niche down there in that Orioles bullpen. And no wonder he's held left-handed hitters to a 175 average.
And Nate McLouth will hit in the pitcher spot after the double switch. McLouth in left and batting ninth. Gerardo Parra. Parra reached on a fielder's choice, stole 2 bases, and scored in the second. Batting stroke starting to come around lately for Parra. He's hit better than .290 over his last 10 games.
We've seen firsthand how this game tends to run in cycles. You hit good for a week, you go into a slump for a week, you pitch well out of the rotation for a week, you lose it for a week. Well, right now the Baltimore bullpen is in a real good streak. 16 innings over their last 6 games, 17 strikeouts, only 3 walks, 1 earned run allowed. And like a lot of teams we've seen lately, the Orioles have 3 lefties available out of their bullpen, 4 right-handers.
They've added K-Rod back there as well, and Jim Johnson has been terrific as the closer. 1-2 to Gerardo Parra. Called strike 3 by Ted Barrett. 2 down in the 6th. Will Nieves is 0 for 2. He struck out twice. Mattis became a very critical left-hand arm in this bullpen during the Orioles' stretch drive last year and then in the postseason. Got a lot of big outs for these guys. A converted starter. There was a time where the Orioles had the next Cuellar McNally group. There was Mattis and Jake Arrieta, who's now with the Cubs, and a whole bunch of guys, all young pitchers. Some they had developed, some they had acquired in trades, and they were part of the future. This was before Buck Showalter even arrived, but for whatever reason, most of them never did quite pan out. Mattis in a different role. Arrieta's now with the Cubs. And Bullpen still quiet.
I was thinking about Dusty Baker used to have descriptions for every kind of pitcher. We've talked about herky-jerky left-handers, you know, a lot of elbows and kneecaps in their delivery. A guy like Mattis he would describe as a stylish lefty. Very smooth in his delivery, sneaky quick with his fastball. Not really a lot of deception, but really good stuff. Stylish lefty.
This is it.
There's not a lot of deception there. He does hide the ball well behind his body before firing toward the plate, but no unnecessary undue movement to try to fool a hitter. He just gets himself in a comfortable throwing position and lets it go and trusts his arm.
Nieves to right. Markakis. It's a 1, 2, 3, 6th. We'll head to the 7th. Diamondbacks trail at 4-2. It's 4-2. There is news on Cody Ross, placed on the 15-day DL with that dislocated right hip suffered yesterday. Cody, we're told now, will have surgery on that hip tomorrow. So I wouldn't imagine getting Cody Ross back in Sedona Red anytime soon.
Well, it certainly doesn't sound like it. I'm not real familiar with hip injuries and the rehab time that would take, but you certainly would figure it's a long shot for him to be back on the field before the end of the season.
Ryan Roberts lifts that one to right. Gerardo Parra is there, one away. And again, the Diamondbacks have not given us a recovery timetable, and so we don't know when Cody Ross can return, but everyone that was watching the game yesterday and just saw that play a moment ago, you could see the severity of the injury, and he will have surgery tomorrow. Nate McLouth double switched into the game. He has just taken over in left field and batting in the 9 hole. And this is one of the guys they say makes this team go. Rolls that one to second. Aaron Hill is there. 2 up, 2 down here in the 7th. Hey fans, catch the rest of the 2013 Major League Baseball season in HD quality with MLB.tv. You can watch every out-of-market game live on over 350 supported mobile devices. Just visit MLB.tv today. It's baseball everywhere. Quickly 2 down in the 7th. Here is Nick Markakis, the leadoff man. Markakis singled and scored in the first. He's 1 for 3. Mentioned that the power production for Nick has kind of disappeared. He's been getting big time money. This is a well-paid player, making $15 million this year and next year. He was a 20-homer guy in his early 20s, but the power numbers, both in terms of homers and doubles, have been in decline the last few years. He still hits. He'll hit between 280, 300, give or take. But the power production in a great hitter's park in Baltimore just has vanished, and it's a little bit of a mystery in Baltimore. Fights that one off the other way. Adam Eaton chases it down, and it's a 1-2-3-7 for Wade Miley. Home half coming up. Joe Borowski joins us in the booth next. With us here, Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly along the way. Joe, explain this to me. Scott Feldman is just throwing these hanging nothing balls up there. I've asked BB about this a dozen times. I still don't get it. He had 8 strikeouts. What's he doing right, or what did he do right?
This is the only way I can explain it is somebody who's throwing that slow to you kind of tends to make you swing harder than you actually should. You're so anxious to put the ball in play, and a perfect example of it, and I've always wondered about this, was the guy from the Padres, real tall guy, Chris Young.
Yeah.
He would throw the ball up in his zone at 89, 90 miles an hour, and guys would just pop it straight in the air. And
Didi takes one, look like in the shoulder perhaps, or the elbow. That one got away from Brian Mattis.
Well, we saw it in his first at bat in the ball game. They're trying to pitch Didi consistently up. Not only did Didi take that one off the right shoulder, looked like it got a pretty good chunk of Matt Wieters back there behind the plate too.
Yeah. Oh, off Didi's shoulder and right into the mask of Wieters. Buck Showalter. Matt Davidson is out to hit for the pitcher, the right-hander, so that is it for the lefty Mattis. Matt Davidson coming up to pinch hit. We'll take a break. Tying run at the plate.
of his major league career called up yesterday. And guys, it's been an emotional roller coaster for Matt Davidson. The highs and the lows. The highs, the futures game and being the MVP, as well as winning the AAA home run derby. But right after that, he got a call that his grandfather had passed away. And this was a man that brought baseball into his life. And so very difficult to deal with that news. But Matt went back to Reno, got back in the swing of things, and got engaged just on Wednesday, guys. So the call-up was capping really an emotional month for him.
Certainly was quite a week for Matt Davidson. He'll face the right-hander. This is Tommy Hunter, who had a save for the Orioles Friday at San Francisco. Gregorius on first, nobody out. Didi hit by a pitch, and here's Matt Davidson hitting for the pitcher, Wade Miley. Nobody out, tying run at the plate here in the 7th. Joe, Matt is a big dude up there with a big swing. Is that something that you might try to take advantage of as a pitcher?
Well, as a pitcher, yeah, you would definitely try and take advantage of it. I always enjoyed facing hitters like this more than guys who were just slap hitters trying to put the ball in play, contact hitters, because I think you could play towards that. You know, you fool around with hard stuff in, and then you come out when you go to breaking balls away. So I found that better. The guys who drove me crazy were the contact hitters. The only thing, though, you can't make the mistake to these guys. You can't leave it over the middle of the plate.
And you know, Bert, you were talking about the hanging nothing balls that Scott Feldman was throwing. You won't see any of those from Tommy Hunter. This guy can rush it up there. His four-seamer's in the high 90s, occasionally approaching 100 miles per hour. Throws a cut fastball in the low 90s, has a nasty curveball he'll throw in the mid-80s. There's nothing hanging or nothing about his stuff.
2-1.
There's that hard cutter at 92 just off the outside corner.
Diamondbacks live after the game with Joe Borowski. D-backs have been out hit 7-4. They trail at 4-2. 3-1 to Matt Davidson. Ball 4. First two reach for Arizona in the 7th, and here's A.J. Pollock.
It's pretty nice at bat by Davidson, a guy that's not accustomed to coming off the bench as a pinch hitter, especially facing a guy that throws upwards to triple digits. Laid off a couple of borderline pitches, ultimately takes the base on balls.
A.J. tripled his last time up. He's 1 for 3. Tying runs on, nobody out for the Diamondbacks.
Orioles expecting a bunt here from A.J. Pollock. Machado already creeping well in front of the line down there at third base. Same thing for Davis over at first.
Not an especially deep bench for Kirk Gibson tonight. He's burned Davidson now. Other than Tuffy Gozawish, the backup catcher, you've got Pennington and Kubel on the Diamondback bench. AJ's been swinging a pretty good bat lately.
And especially with the corner infielders drawn in as far as they are. A lot of holes out there in the infield right now. Good solid contact anywhere but right at a defender has a chance to get through.
0-2. Clearly asking Ted Barrett if that was a strike, and you can see Barrett nod his head. Matt Williams at third. Gregorius at second. Davidson at first. Goes down and lifts that one to right. Markakis tracks it down. Gregorius back to the bag. He was about halfway. Brings up Adam Eaton. Well, the Diamondbacks, when they were down 1, had Pollock on third with no outs in the 5th after his leadoff triple and could not get the tying run across. And here in the 7th, they have the tying runs on first and second. Nobody out. Now with one away, here's Adam Eaton. Trying to get these runs in. Eaton 0 for 3.
And this is a tough spot, especially for the Diamondback hitters that have faced Feldman all night. Now you change up pitchers and you have somebody throwing 10 to 12 miles an hour faster than he was. Your timing, it's going to take a little bit, a couple pitches to see from Hunter before you can actually time up his delivery to the plate.
Fights that one off, and it drops into shallow center. Gregorius coming home. Orioles kicking around out there. It's a 4-3 ball game. Fought it off and got just enough of it.
Sounded like that bat died a hero right there. Cut fastball. Got just enough of it to muscle it over Roberts in front of Jones out there in shallow center. Matt Williams, no hesitation that time, was waving Didi the whole way and wouldn't have needed to slide at home plate as Jones had some problems with that ball out there in center field.
Here's Goldie. He was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts against Feldman, so Goldie's certainly happy to see Hunter out there. Tying run at second base, 1 out. Go ahead, run at first. 97, it's 0-1.
Good aggressive swing at that first pitch fastball that time from Goldie. He's been a little passive in the game tonight against Feldman. Took some called strikes, put himself in the hole 0-2 one time, taking 2 called strikes is Senator John McCain in the house tonight. Big D-backs fan.
He's bringing the heat, consistent high 90s. Goldie 17 hits in the second half of the season. 6 of them are homers. He did not go, says Mike DeMuro. This was Goldie Friday against the Mets. Right field, Markakis. Davidson tags and heads for third. Tying run 90 feet away with 2 outs. And the red-hot Aaron Hill, who's 1 for 3. The 1, his 8th home run of the year back in the second. His 3rd straight game with a home run.
That was a hanging nothing ball.
I don't understand why catchers ever call for those. They don't seem to work. Davidson the tying run at third. Eaton the go-ahead run at first. 2 outs for Hill. 1 for 3, the homer in the second. Diamondbacks another chance to get the tying run home from third.
I think we're seeing just what you talked about, Joe. You got a hard thrower in the game now after seeing a soft tosser to start the game. Aaron Hill just wanted to see a couple pitches, kind of get his rhythm in that batter's box. Get ready for that next one.